In 2024, a dirt contractor outside Dallas named Ray finally did the thing he swore he would never do. For 31 years, his yard was a wall of yellow. Caterpillar dozers, Caterpillar excavators, Caterpillar wheel loaders, and a cat hat on every head. His father ran yellow, he ran yellow, and he used to tell younger guys that buying anything else was buying a problem. Then he ran the numbers on a single wheel loader for one full season. His old cat loader was burning close to a fifth more diesel a day than the Volvo loader his neighbor was running on the same kind of pile. The Volvo cab was quieter, so his best operator stopped coming off the machine with a headache, and when both men went to trade in, the Volvo held a stronger slice of its sticker than the cat did in that class. Ray did the math on fuel, on resale, on the days a machine sat dead waiting for a dealer laptop, and the math did not care about loyalty. The next loader that rolled into his yard was painted gray and silver, not yellow. And the strange part is that Ray is not a trader. Ray is early. Today we follow the trail of why an operator who bled yellow now reaches for Volvo, and why brand for brand. On the things that actually matter to the man in the seat, Volvo is quietly winning. Let us be clear about what this video is and is not. Caterpillar is not finished. Caterpillar just posted the highest sales in its history and still builds the biggest machines on Earth. The word everything in that title is a claim worth testing, not a slogan to swallow. So we are going to test it category by category, honestly, and we are going to name the places where Cat still wins. But by the end, you will understand why the operator, the man who actually has to live in the cab and pay the fuel bill, keeps drifting toward the gray machine. Start with the throne, because you cannot understand the shift without the height of the thing that is shifting. For most of a century, the American fleet ran all yellow, and it ran yellow for good reasons. Back in the 1920s, a tractor maker in Illinois bet everything on tracks instead of wheels, and the track-type tractor became the tool that cut the roads and dug the foundations of the modern country. By the time the Second World War came, Cat machines were building airfields under fire, and soldiers learned the yellow iron could outwork anything. After the war, Caterpillar built the interstate highway system mile by mile and stripped the overburden off half the mines on the continent. The yellow paint became a symbol of work itself. A boy who grew up watching a Cat machine clear his county wanted to run one someday, and the company backed the feeling with the largest dealer and parts network in the world, so an owner believed that whatever broke, a yellow truck would be there by morning. That belief was the real product. The iron was almost secondary. For decades, if you wanted to be taken seriously on a job site, you bought the machine painted yellow. That was the throne. Now the turn. And to understand it, you have to know who Volvo actually is, because most American owners still picture a safe family car. The truth is bigger. Volvo built its first construction machine generations ago, and has been making heavy iron in Sweden longer than most operators have been alive. And here is the fact that should stop you. The modern articulated hauler, the bending six-wheel rock truck that you see on every big earth-moving job in the country, was invented by Volvo. In 1966, a Volvo-built machine, nicknamed Gravel Charlie, became the first articulated hauler in the world. A tractor with a hinged dump body that could crawl through mud no rigid truck could survive. Volvo did not copy that machine from anyone. Volvo created the whole class. And today, more than half a century later, Volvo is still the market leader in articulated haulers, building roughly half of all the ones sold on Earth. When a Cat articulated truck rolls onto a site, it is competing in a category that a Swedish company drew on a blank page. Hold that thought, because it tells you something about who chases whom. Now let us test the title, category by category, starting with the one that hits the owner in the wallet every single day: fuel. Diesel is the largest running cost on most machines, larger than the operator's wage on a hard-working loader. And this is where Volvo built a reputation that even Cat loyalists quietly respect. Volvo wheel loaders are widely regarded as among the most fuel-efficient in the business, and Volvo leaned into it on purpose. The company built an economy mode into the machines, and it even designed a throttle pedal with a physical step in it, a little resistance point that nudges the operator to back off before the engine climbs into the thirsty part of its range. That is engineering aimed straight at the diesel bill. Independent comparisons of full-size loaders have repeatedly put the Volvo ahead of the yellow machine on fuel burned per ton moved. That is what sent Ray to a calculator. When a loader runs 10 or 12 hours a day, a fifth less diesel is not a rounding error. It is a new pickup truck every couple of years. Cat machines are not thirsty by the standards of the whole industry, and the gap has narrowed. But on the single number an owner watches most, Volvo has owned the bragging rights for years. Next category, the cab, which sounds soft until you remember the operator is a human being who sits in it for 2,000 hours a year. Volvo treats the cab as the product, not as a place to cut cost. Sound deadening, hydraulic mounts that soak up the shock before it reaches the seat, a seat that actually adjusts to a real man's body, and controls laid out where the hand falls naturally. The reason this matters is not comfort for its own sake. A tired operator makes mistakes, works slower in the last hours of the shift, and quits sooner in a labor market where good operators are gold. Owners have learned that the quiet cab is a productivity tool. Ray noticed it, the way every owner eventually notices it. His best hand stopped dreading the long days in the Volvo, and a man who is not beaten down at 4 in the afternoon loads more trucks than a man who is. This is the soft edge of the war, and Volvo has been winning it long enough that the rest of the industry has spent a decade trying to catch up to the gray cab. Now, safety. And here the story is almost unfair, because Volvo has been the safety company since before most equipment brands thought about it at all. The 3-point seatbelt, the belt in your own car right now, the one credited with saving more than 1 million lives, was invented by a Volvo engineer named Nils Bohlin in 1959. And Volvo gave the patent away to the entire world for free, because the company decided that saving lives mattered more than owning the idea. That is the culture that builds Volvo machines. Rollover protection, falling object protection, visibility designed so the operator can actually see the ground crew. All of it flows from a company that treated safety as the brand from the beginning. Cat builds safe machines too, and meets every standard, but it does not carry the same birthright. When an operator hears that the company building his excavator is the same lineage that invented the seatbelt that protects his kids, that lands. Respect is built out of stories like that, and Volvo has the better story. If you want to watch Caterpillar keep losing ground, subscribe to Quisoup. If you are watching on your TV, find Quisoup and hit subscribe there. Now resale, the number that decides whether owning a machine made money or lost it. The dirty secret of this business is that you do not really pay the sticker price. You pay the difference between what you bought it for and what you sell it for, plus everything you spent keeping it alive in between. For decades, the resale argument was Caterpillar's trump card. The yellow machine held its value because the name and the dealer network made it the safe used by anywhere on Earth, and in some classes, that is still true today, which we will get to, honestly. But Volvo has closed that gap hard. Strong used demand in Europe and a growing reputation for low-hour reliability mean a clean Volvo loader or excavator now holds a slice of its value that would have been unthinkable a generation ago, and in several classes, it goes head-to-head with the Cat. Ray found that out at trade in time. The Volvo did not punish him for buying it. That alone broke the spell, because resale was the last argument the yellow salesman had, and now it does not always hold. Now the category Volvo did not just win, but invented, the articulated hauler, and this is where the word everything starts to feel earned. Remember Gravel Charlie. Volvo has spent 60 years refining the machine it created, and the proof is sitting at the top of the range. The Volvo A60H is the largest articulated hauler on the market, a 60-ton payload monster powered by a giant 16-liter Volvo engine, with active hydraulic front suspension that lets it haul faster across rough ground than anything in its class. Cat builds articulated trucks, good ones, but Cat is a guest in a house Volvo built. When you buy a Cat articulated hauler, you are buying the rival's version of Volvo's idea. And on the biggest job sites in North America, the bending Volvo rock truck is simply the default. Operators trust the suspension, trust the traction in mud, and trust that the company has been perfecting this exact machine since before they were born. That is not a marketing claim. That is 60 years of head start. And now the future, electrification, where the gap is the widest of all. Volvo decided years ago that the small electric machine was coming, and instead of talking about it, Volvo built it and sold it. At a giant equipment show back in 2019, Volvo committed to electrifying its compact machines, and the company put real battery-powered excavators and wheel loaders into customers' hands. Machines like the ECR25 electric compact excavator and the L25 electric compact wheel loader, while most of the industry was still showing slides. Volvo then pushed up into a larger battery excavator in the 23-ton class and ran it on real North American job sites. Now look at Caterpillar's answer. Cat brought electric prototypes to a technology show in 2024, years after Volvo was already taking orders and delivering iron. On the single question of who will own the quiet, zero-emission job sites that cities are starting to demand, Volvo is not ahead by a step. Volvo is ahead by a lap. For a contractor who works inside cities, near hospitals, or under air quality rules, that head start is the whole game. So let us be fair, because a video that only praises one side is an advertisement, not the truth. There are real categories where Caterpillar still wins, and an honest operator will tell you so. Cat builds the biggest machines on the planet. The Caterpillar 797 mining truck is the largest mechanical drive haul truck in the world, a 400-ton giant, and Cat just built the 1,000th one. In the great mines, in the deepest pits, the yellow iron rules, and Volvo does not even compete at that scale. Cat also leads in autonomous mining, with fleets of driverless trucks already hauling around the clock, and that is a real technology lead worth respecting. And the dealer network, the thing that built the throne, is still the widest and deepest on Earth. In a remote county, the nearest parts counter is more likely to be Cat than Volvo, and that matters when a machine is down and the job has a deadline. Volvo has its own trade-off here. In rural America, Volvo parts and Volvo-trained mechanics can be harder to reach than the yellow dealer 2 towns over, and a smart owner weighs that before he switches. Cat is bigger, Cat is everywhere, and in the biggest iron, Cat is still the king. None of that is in dispute. But here is why Volvo keeps winning the thing that actually matters, the operator's daily experience, even while Cat keeps the crown for size. It comes down to what each company decided to protect. Somewhere along the way, the people running Caterpillar started thinking like a finance company that happens to own factories. Wall Street rewards a manufacturer for fatter margins and steady parts revenue, so the machine quietly became the hook that locks the owner into decades of dealer service, dealer software, and dealer-priced parts. Owners noticed in the small things. A repair that a man could once do in his own yard now throws a fault code that only a dealer laptop can clear. The machine runs fine, but the screen says no. That is the dealer software lockout, and it is documented, not invented. Volvo is not a charity, and it protects its margins too, but the gray company spent its energy on the things the operator can feel. The fuel burn, the quiet cab, the safety, the future. Cat spent its energy protecting the balance sheet and locking the gate. And respect is a bank account. The yellow company has been spending down its balance one parts invoice at a time, while Volvo has been making deposits one shift at a time. Quick break before we get into what happened next. If you have been on this channel for a while, watching how Cat lost its way, there is a way to make sure you do not miss what is coming. Join the Operator tier for $4.99 a month. You get badges that mark you as a working professional in the comment section, custom emoji to call out the corporate decisions that killed Cat, and you get every video 24 hours before the rest of the internet. To join, open your phone and search KeySoup Membership, or go to the channel page and tap Join. Join the operators and engineers who are paying attention. Now back to it. Now the proof, the part that turns a feeling into a fact you can stand on. Start with the haulers. Volvo builds roughly half of every articulated hauler sold on the planet, and it has held that lead for decades. That is not opinion. That is a company owning the category it created. Look at the dollars an owner actually lives. Vendor comparisons of a full-size wheel loader over its working life have put the total cost of owning a Volvo below the total cost of owning the comparable Cat, mostly on the strength of lower fuel and competitive upkeep, even though the Cat sometimes claws back a little at resale. Treat the exact figures as a guide rather than gospel, because total cost depends on the operation, but the direction of the arrow is consistent across the people who run both. Then look at the map. In Europe, Volvo has long been a default heavy iron brand, and that confidence has been crossing the Atlantic year by year as American owners like Ray run the same calculator he ran. Volvo CE is far smaller than Caterpillar overall, holding only a single-digit slice of the global equipment market against CAT's much larger share. So this is not Volvo conquering the whole industry. This is Volvo winning the specific fights that the operator cares about most, and winning them brand for brand, machine for machine, on fuel, on comfort, on safety, on haulers, and on the electric future. Here is the question I want you to sit with before the end. If a machine burns less fuel, treats the operator better, holds its value, carries the safest name in the industry, and is years ahead on the electric future, but the company that builds it has a thinner dealer network in your county, would you still switch? Tell me in the comments. And here is the pattern, the same pattern that runs under every story on this channel. The operator does not actually owe loyalty to a paint color. He owes loyalty to whatever respects him. For 100 years, the yellow machine respected him, and he wore the hat with pride. But respect is not a memory. It is a thing a company either keeps doing or stops doing. Volvo decided to respect the operator's fuel bill, his back, his safety, and his future. Caterpillar decided to respect the margin and the parts counter. And when a man like Ray runs the numbers at the end of a season, the numbers always march him toward whoever respected him most that year. The paint follows the respect. It always has. One more thing before you go. If you really want to be part of the inner circle on this channel, join the site Foreman for $9.99 a month. You get a public shout-out in upcoming videos. Your name, your operation, your story, validated in front of the entire KeySoup audience, plus everything from the operator tier. To join, open your phone and search KeySoup membership, or go to the channel page and tap join. The biggest machine on Earth is still painted yellow, and it always might be. But the machine the operator actually wants to climb into tomorrow morning is turning gray, and a company does not lose a man's hands all at once. It loses them one fuel bill, one quiet cab, and one locked screen at a time. See you in the next one.